Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so tomorrow there is going to be a live stream where they go over some Daima stuff. I'm going to do a video about that as well. That'll be coming up later. But there is also some interesting information. I know Goresh retweeted something about an upcoming stream with some information on divers. Of course, the thing taking over from Heroes, right? The new arcade game. But there may be some Heroes info in that as well. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. Obviously, Heroes is something that we are big fans of in this channel and in this community. You know, we got the Heroes Agenda hashtag trending last year when Heroes came out. There's the Heroes Agenda merch that you can get from the store down below with the Super Saiyan 3 Rose Ningen art done by our boy Mario that does all the channel art. So we're big on Heroes over here on the channel. And we have a very interesting video for today. Shout out to a member of the community, Prof, aka Prof Verhoeven. You might have seen some of his tweets and stuff. You'll see him in the streams. You'll see him in the community. He's done this. I think he did it last year, but I didn't get around to doing a video before they started dropping the reveals and things. So I wanted to do that this year before they started actually showing anything off officially. But he's created an entire custom Dragon Ball Heroes celebration over on the fan-made wiki. Because if you ever used the Dokkan wiki that I show a lot in videos when we're talking about units, they do actually have a whole other section just for fan-made stuff, and obviously it uses the exact same format as the main wiki, so all the characters look like, you know, the character details pages and stuff like that are all the same, but you can just make your own like custom stuff. So we have a full custom Heroes celebration, and I wanted to do something like this year because we know we're getting a hero celebration this year. It was confirmed by the roadmaps that we've seen, and I kind of assumed we would still get one this year anyway, right? Even with the announcement that Heroes was ending its service, you know, we know that they plan Dokkan content quite far in advance, so I figured this year would be a shoe-in anyway. But of course, going forward after this, we don't know whether there will be any more Heroes celebrations. So this one is kind of one of those things. If this was the last celebration, like exactly as here, as presented by Prof, this would be awesome, and it would be a great send-off to Heroes. Some of the stuff is definitely wishful thinking, stuff that we've wanted to see them include in the Hero celebration for a while, but I don't think they necessarily will when it comes to what we're actually going to get this year. However, some of the stuff in things like the unit choices and some of the events and things like that definitely could be what we will see. And you know, maybe we will get some few things like we've wanted a hero support memory and stuff like that. Like there's little bits here and there that I think we could get, but this is an all-out like balls to the wall. This would be the ultimate Heroes celebration. So shout out to Prof. I'm going to leave a link to his Twitter where he's been posting a bunch of the stuff himself in bits and pieces over the last few days, and of course I'll leave a link to this page here because it has all the links to open up all the other pages. So obviously we've got this laid out like a normal wiki page for a celebration. So we've got the crossover Heroes campaign, and then we have all the stuff listed. So login bonus and crossover special missions, as we would expect from a any kind of celebration. And of course, the first big thing is the banner itself, right? So the Super Dragon Ball Heroes crossover summon. And so you can see here, this is the custom art for the banner. Like Prof made all of this stuff, right? So shout out to him. A lot of effort has obviously gone into this. But yeah, so we've got, this would be the banner lineup for Prof's celebration here. So we have Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. It's something that I think we definitely could see. Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Gogeta, which is something I know a big fan favorite that people want to see. Then we have this Dark Omega Shenron. So Demon Enhanced Shadow Dragon Omega Shenron Xeno Transcended. Prof is a stickler for the actual official heroes names as well, which come from all the heroes cards. So we have like the Kid Fu, which is Demon King Fu, Dogi Dogi Completely Absorbed brackets Universe Tree Power. Then we have the Super Hearts brackets Evolved. This is the Otherworld Heart, so he has the halo as well. And then we have the couple of warriors in black from the arc that carried on after the Universe Tree, the Future Gohan, and he's given the brackets Future Warrior in black as well, so he would obviously be able to link with other Future Gohans. And then same with Piccolo, who is the Namekian Warrior in black. So Prof did actually make kits for all of these units as well, so you can check the link and go through all of the details yourself. I wanted to just show a couple, like the main headliners, which is obviously the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, All of these arts are, of course, actual heroes cards, because we know that Dokkan, when they give the heroes cards their card arts, they do use the actual cards themselves. And so, like, it's kind of been a thing throughout the history of heroes coming to Dokkan. Like, if a card only has one, like, there's only one version of a card. Like, I think at one point there was only one Dark Janemba and like one Golden Metal Cooler. So that was their SSR art. And until a new actual heroes card came out, like, they didn't have a TUR art. And then as soon as a second Dark Janemba and Golden Metal Cooler card came out, those were the arts they got when they Dokkan Awakened. So this is one of those things, like, if a heroes card or a character in Heroes only has like one art, they're probably never going to be in the game, especially now that the characters appear to be awakening straight away. And we do have a thing coming up here that I want to show, where Prof goes through why he chose the characters that he did, and also shows where the arts come from. But yeah, we've got Limit Breaker, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Obviously, if you want to see the full details of these characters and go through all of their stuff yourself, like I said, the link will be in the description. Obviously, these characters are designed to be very, very good. Which is what, you know, something we would want to see. Like, I'm somebody who tries to push the heroes team as far as we possibly can in each celebration, to see if we can keep up with, or how long we can keep up with, the current content, right? So this guy infinitely stacks defense, greatly raises attack, immense damage, lowers attack. He has an entrance animation. He gets a buff and guard for 1 turn on his entry turn. Then he has pretty solid stats, extra stats when performing a super, damage reduction, and then extra defense and damage reduction per heroes, giant 8 power, or fused fighters ally on the team. This is the kind of thing that we want to see heroes units having, where if they're going to have a restriction, you can use them outside of a heroes team, right? So if you wanted to make a full giant 8 power team or a full fused fighters team, this guy would still be able to get his full buff. And then he gets extra stats and attacks guaranteed to hit when there's another fused fighter ally on the team, which, considering, you know, there's another Gogeta, we already have the Limit Breaker for Geo. You know, that fits in nicely. And he has a scouter when there's another ally whose name includes Gogeta in the same turn. He has an active skill, massively raise attack temporarily, ultimate damage to the enemy, and extra 20% damage reduction. So with a full team, because he's got a maximum of 16% with his allies, that's what, 60%. So on the active skill turn, he has 80%, as well as he'd obviously get all his on super buffs. So yeah, it just seems like a very good, very strong unit. And then, of course, Blue Evolution Gogeta. Prof was saying that these guys are, in a similar way they do to Heroes characters, one of them is more offensive, one of them is more defensive. So this guy gets a bunch of extra attacks that have additional chance to be a super. He has dodge chance with the allies as opposed to damage reduction. Then he gets an additional chance to dodge with each attack evaded. He gets additional attack and defense and attacks effective against all types when there's a fused fighter's ally, and an additional super when there's an ally whose name includes Gogeta. And his active skill massively raises attack, launches an additional super attack, and evades enemy attacks for 1 turn, which is a cool active skill. I don't think we've seen, I mean, I guess we've seen like the guaranteed dodge active skills before, but something like that's kind of cool. Like, on the turn you use the active skill, he gets a guaranteed additional super. So I think that's cool. So this guy is fully offense based with like dodge to back it up, and then this guy is very defensive with lots of damage reduction, which I think is very cool. And then the extreme headliner is the Xeno Omega Shenron. This guy also has an entrance animation. He gets extra stats per crossover or power absorption ally, so he can be used with some of these other extreme characters outside of Heroes as well. He only needs another extreme crossover ally. And he gets extra attacks and guard for the first few turns. He guards all attacks when there's a fused fighter's enemy. And then he gets extra stats with each orb obtained, gets an additional super with 3 or more extreme class heroes allies on the team. And then at the start of turn, when HP is 50% or less, he gets an additional super with an action break. And then he has a domain that creates the Destroyed Time Nest, raises allies ki by 2 for 4 turns. And then the domain is when there's a fused fighter enemy, or when all allies attacking in the same turn are heroes. That's when you can activate it. Heroes, enemies, and allies attack and defense 14%. Increased damage received by fused fighters enemies by 14%. Big Bad Bosses, obviously a good link for him. She's got Shadow Dragons, but Fear and Faith Nightmare. So, I mean, these cards would be very, very powerful, and obviously have been designed to be very good. As a Heroes fan, Prof's not going to have these units age out immediately after, like, you know, a couple of weeks. But then what I thought was interesting is he provided this details here of why all the units were chosen. So, you can see the timeline explanation of past celebrations. So these are how the units that released reflect on the sagas that were going on in the Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime. So we got these guys from the Universe Conflict Saga, Universe Creation Saga, the Limit Breakers, and Black Janemba. So obviously they fight him. There's the card. They do the twin like Limit Breaker Dragon Fist, which is awesome. Not something we have in Heroes in Dokkan, but something from the game that's very cool. Then we have the Universe Creation Saga. So we saw Limit Breaker Vegito, Dark King Fu, and the Limit Breaker Broly. And then also as part of the units last year, we had the new Space Time War Saga, the first part, and that's where we got Super Saiyan 3 Rose and the Berserk Control Blue Vegeta. This is something we talked about before, that like Super Saiyan 3 Rose fights Blue Evolution Gogeta. So I was kind of surprised that we got Rose and not Gogeta last year. So then you can see, so we got the second part of the Time War. So this is where the Limit Breaker Gogeta, obviously Blue Evolution Vegeta, who, as we said, fought Rose. We get the Fu with the Universe Tree, and then the Super Hearts, Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. And then, of course, I think he fights the Dark Omega from the Supreme Kai of Time Saga, the first part. That's where the Warriors in Black are introduced. So assumingly we would follow on from this in like the celebration the year after, where we would then start to get characters like Eos, the old like Kai of Time, maybe the other Warriors in Black like Bardock, and that could potentially lead up to that trio beam attack that everyone loves to speculate for Heroes, with the Super Saiyan 4 Bardock UI Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Future Gohan. So that's the reasoning behind why those guys are the selections. And then, yeah, you can see the card arts here for the characters that were picked. Like, we've seen some of those in the details already. We'll talk about this Broly here in a minute when we come up to the rest of the content. But yeah, these cards, these characters need to have these multiple arts so that they can actually have multiple like a card can't have an awakening if they don't have a second art. And then there's some free to play characters, but we're going to talk about them as we get to them in the next part. So that is the selection from the crossover summon. Definitely all very good picks. The Xeno Omega Shenron is a very random one, I think, for some people. If you're not big on the hero stuff, you might not have even seen him before. But Fu carrying on from like Dark King Fu from last time. Hearts having a new unit in his other form is very cool. It's starting to introduce the Warriors in Black, and obviously I know people are hyped for Blue Evolution Gogeta and Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as well. So very good lineup for the summons. Then we get onto something that is, of course, going to be a little bit of wishful thinking, something that we've hoped for a long time, and of course that is a Heroes LR. And you can see here as well, the one time only, we have the essentially the pity system for the LR Broly banner as well. So yeah, we have an LR banner for the crossover summon, legendary summon crossover with a Dark Mask Super Saiyan 4 Broly. Obviously, if Heroes could get an LR, this would be a very awesome choice. This is a character that we kind of skipped over. We've already moved on to like Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Broly, which is way after this in like the Heroes promotional trailers and stuff like that. So it'd be cool for them to go back to this guy and to do it in such a way, like to release him as an LR, would obviously be super, super hype. So this is the details here for this guy as an LR. Obviously designed to be very powerful. Uncontrollable power is, of course, now a category in the game. So this guy works very well on the uncontrollable power team as well. So he could fit in with all the new Broly stuff. It'd be very cool to get some kind of new Broly entry into the Heroes catalog with all the crazy buffs that we just had, because obviously they added the old Super Saiyan 4 Broly and Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Broly to the uncontrollable power category. So it'd be very cool to see this guy actually coming to the game. This is one of the things where I don't think this will happen. Like, I don't think we'll get an LR, like a separate legendary summon banner or anything like that, but I would very much like to see Dark Mask Broly introduced into the game as well. But yeah, he's very cool. He has an active skill for giving him a permanent buff, as well as an additional super every time he attacks 4 times, up to once within a turn. For the rest of the battle, can be activated when there's a Goku family, Giant Ape Power, or Artificial Life Forms enemy, or when all allies attacking in the same turn are crossover. So very easy to get. Good super attack effects, like greatly raising defense on the 12 key, and then his 18 key super massively raises attack, raise defense for 1 turn. Got an entrance animation. Like, all the major characters from this celebration have an entrance animation, which maybe is too much to ask for from Heroes, right? We only got one for the Limit Breaker Vegito last time. But if we were going to get a Heroes LR, this guy would definitely be a super good choice. Broly's a very popular character. The Timebreaker mask stuff, obviously, you know, I love it, and it's a big thing for heroes. So that would definitely be very, very cool. So then as we keep going down, we obviously would have a Dokkan event with the medals for these guys to awaken them. The new Awakenings campaign, which of course they've been doing with all these things recently for new Dokkan Fest, so farming the medals is a little bit easier. Especially needed for heroes, considering how many of these medals you need to farm up for the characters, because so many characters will come out. Then, of course, we have the usual stuff that we definitely will get, like the sale packs with the pack where you can get the special, like, hero stone that you can then use to get a bunch of characters from the barbershop. Then we have a new special event. This is a new free-to-play event, and this has 2 farmable free-to-play characters. So we have a free-to-play Masked Rose, Super Saiyan Rose 2, because that's the thing, we got the Super Saiyan 3 Rose for Heroes last year, but they just went straight to Super Saiyan 3. I thought we would get maybe the Super Saiyan 1 that maybe transforms into 2, and then like the next year maybe they'd give us the 3, but they went straight in with the Super Saiyan 3 Master Rose. So getting Super Saiyan 2 as a free-to-play unit here. And then something that I do think we could maybe see, especially if this is going to be the last Hero Celebration, we definitely want them to go out with a bang. If we're going to get a Heroes LR, a free-to-play LR is definitely something I could see them doing if it's going to be like the final Heroes Celebration. And I know this unit choice is a really, really popular one that people want to see, which is obviously the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and the Super Saiyan Blue Goku together in the same card, right? The 2 different timelines, like the Super timeline and then the... it's not really the GT timeline, it's like the Time Patrol like timeline, right, with the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. But yeah, this card would be very, very cool to have in the game. If we have to get Heroes LR by it being a free-to-play LR, I mean, that's fine, as long as they make them good, right? I mean, we just got the Prime Battle LR Bio Broly, and he is really good. So they can make free-to-play LRs, like, strong. Maybe we won't get him from just a story event. Imagine if they did it and it was like a Prime Battle thing with the 777 medals. I don't know if they would do that for Heroes, because... obviously, all the hero stuff is only available during the hero celebration. But yeah, for them to end, if this is going to be the final hero celebration, getting an LR would be super cool. And we've talked in the past how it would be difficult to do a Heroes LR without having a separate banner like Prof's done here, right? Because the banners normally, you've got like 8 featured units, every multi's guaranteed featured. If one of those characters was an LR, you know, there's going to be people out there, you're going to rainbow that LR in like 5 multis with the best possible luck, right? Oh, well, I guess the best possible luck, it'd be even less. And it feels like they wouldn't want to give away a summonable LR like that easily. So, I don't know, but it'd be cool to get Heroes LR, getting a free-to-play one. This character would obviously be very interesting, because whilst it is a, like... 2 character card, like a joined forces card, they're both Goku, so they're obviously going to be on Goku Family and Pure Saiyans. They would even be on things like Turtle School and stuff, because they're both Goku. So this would be a very cool card. Crossover as the leader skill obviously makes a lot of sense, because they are kind of like the banner of the timelines crossing over. So I think this would be really, really good. I would love to see this as a card, whether it was an LR, whether it was free to play. This would be a great card, and I know has been a lot of people's top pick for a Heroes card for quite some time. So then we have a new special event to get some Heroes support memories. So this is the event here. Help Cronoa, Trunks and Pan save different timelines by joining the Time Patrol. So we have ones for sort of each of the hero sagas, and each of these gives a support memory. So this is, I think, where, you know, this is where the wishful thinking comes in, going a bit far. Maybe we'll get 1 support memory, but it'd be cool to have a bunch of different ones. A lot of these do different things, like we've got a Heroes or Realm of Gods buff for 1 turn, which is similar to some of the weaker support memories we have. This one I think is cool, and we haven't seen from a support memory. Creates a domain, Artificial Moon, which then gives giant 8-power allies attack and defense 20% for 5 turns. That's really cool, and something that they've not yet done, but could be very interesting for a support memory, because it will activate from the 5th turn, or when there's a hero's enemy. So the support memory goes off and then a domain activates. Like, that would be really cool and something that I would love to see. Then we have a healing one, as well as a buff on the 6th turn or when HP is 50% or less. Then we have the creates the domain Time Labyrinth, which basically does a Ghost Usher for 1 turn and then gives storied figures and heroes allies a buff. activates from the 7th turn when there's a hero's enemy. And then we have the permanent buff, crossover allies, attack and defense 15% in battle. This is the one that I think we'd be most likely to get if we do get one. Of course, we hoped that that would be the reward back when we originally saw they were going to do a Heroes Red Zone, because when they did the 7th anniversary Red Zones, that's how we got those permanent buff support memories. They haven't done it yet, but if they are going to do it, I could definitely see the permanent buff support memory being the one that they would do. But yeah, hopefully we will see something like that in the actual celebration that we do get. So we have a new limited time event in order to get EX skill orbs. I don't know why I'm struggling for the word when it's literally written there on the screen, but yeah, basically just one of those, like, do this once a day, beat the stage, get EX skill orbs that are only usable by heroes characters. That's something that they've not yet done, that I think would be very good to have during a hero celebration. And then we have the Extreme Z battle. So this one is a given. Like, we know the units that are going to Easy A this year. God Trunks, Pan, Mechikabra, Vegex, Xeno Goku, Xeno Vegeta, and then Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and Super Saiyan 3 Gohanks. Like, they go by these batches for Easy A's, right? So this is one of the things that we absolutely know is happening. The Extreme Z battle that will Easy A all 8 of these heroes units. So definitely looking forward to seeing what their Easy A's are going to look like. God Trunks, Mechikabra, like, these guys could be really, really good. The Xeno Goku and Xeno Vegeta, like, considering how good the Vegeta team is, like Texay Day Vegeta, having this guy get a really good Easy A would be great. You know, Family Kamehameha Gohan just came out. Kamehameha team has a lot of Goku family units, so the Xeno Goku would be really good there. So yeah, very much looking forward to seeing what these Easy A's are going to do. Then Prof's also included the Super Easy A for Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, which of course makes sense to happen alongside a hero celebration because he is a crossover character. That is something that would be very cool. I'm a big fan of Super Saiyan 3, and you know, the category itself has been lacking for some time, so this guy getting a buff would be really, really good. He would go back, as long as he got a good Super Easy A right, he'd go back to being just your de facto slot 1 tank that just sits there and absorbs everything, so that would be super good. Then obviously the old Easy A's would come back. The Easy A banner for the only the characters that are getting Easy Aid, where they're guaranteed featured per multi, they always do that as well. The free-to-play Extreme Z area would come back. Obviously the STR Toa from last year would be getting an Easy A with this celebration. The other Dokkan events would come back, of course, as well. But this one time we have a burst mode for the... because we got a burst mode for the Limit Breaker ones last year, didn't we? For the Limit Breaker Goku and Vegeta, so we'd get a burst mode for Limit Breaker Vegeta this year, which would be very cool. And then we have something that I am expecting to see. We got new stages for the Red Zone and Supreme Magnificent Battle for heroes, because now that we've got this new format of event, that would be something that would be very cool to see for heroes, right? So we've got the Heroes Red Zone, which I believe went up to Hearts, right? So 3 new stages versus the Dark Janemba, versus Limit Breaker Broly, and then versus Dark King Fu. It's typical Red Zone sort of affair. He's thrown in some missions there for using certain teams against the certain stages. But yeah, something like this would be very, very cool. And then, of course, the Supreme Magnificent Battle, so we can fight against the super class characters. So we've got Vegex as stage 1, Supreme Kai of Time stage 2, God Trunks for stage 3, and then Super Saiyan 4 Vegito for stage 4. So this is something that I could expect to see. I feel like if they're going to release this during the new celebration, though, I feel like the last stage would probably be one of the headliners from the celebration itself. So it would end with, in this instance, Limit Breaker Gogeta or Blue Evolution Gogeta. Maybe adding a 5th one with the Limit Breaker Vegito here as well would be cool. But yeah, I could definitely expect to see a Heroes Supreme Magnificent Battle where we fight against the super class Heroes characters. I think that would be very, very cool. And then last but not least, we've got this. Everything below this is a bunch of like returning stuff for crossover events. But this is a very interesting one. Another character that people have mentioned, like Dark Mask Broly from way back in the past of Heroes, and that is Cell X. This crazy, like, weird monster transformation that Cell has in Heroes. And I believe from the old promotional trailers, it's Vegeta and Trunks fusing into Vegex to actually fight this guy. So they've also given this guy a weakness and some missions for Vegeta family and fused fighters, which I think is cool. Basically, it's got a release date on here because it's the template for the Cell Max event. This is essentially like an updated Heroes version of that Cell Max event. So it's supposed to be a challenge event that comes out and is really hard. Imagine like Cell Max was like on the day that event came out. This is what this is kind of designed to be, just a one stage, very difficult like challenge event, which I think would be very cool. And again, this is one of the things that I don't think we will get, like some random extra crazy challenge event, but would be very, very cool. So lots and lots of stuff here. Like I say, I feel like if this was actually to release like all of this stuff, I feel like it would just hands down, right? It'd be the best hero celebration of all time. Like so much content, loads of stuff to do. We got the support memories. We got 2 free-to-play units, including an LR. Then we also have a legendary summon banner with a Heroes LR. That's why I think Vegeta was featured on there, yeah, because he gets the super easy A. And then, of course, the choices for the units for this celebration. Some of them are very hype picks that people have wanted to see for quite some time as well. So that is Prof's custom Heroes celebration for 2025. Like I say, there's definitely some stuff on here that I would always say almost certainly won't get, which is a shame because it would be super awesome. Some stuff on here that we know we will get, like the easy A's, things like the Hero Stone with the sails and all that kind of stuff. But definitely a very, very good celebration. If this was, as I said at the beginning, if this was the final Hero celebration, I would definitely be happy with this as the last celebration because it would be very good. Loads of new units, loads of content. And I think this would go down very well in the community. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Give me some of your ideas down below. If you were to design your own hero celebration, who would you like to see as the headlining units? Would you have LRs? What kind of events would there be? Let me know all of that stuff down below. And of course, shout out once again to Prof. The link to his Twitter and the celebration itself will be in the description, as I said at the beginning. So all we have left to do now is wait for Heroes. We are just over a month away because it normally comes out around mid-November. So we've probably got something like 5 to 6 weeks to wait. Hopefully we will find out some news soon. Maybe start getting some teasers on who some of the characters will be. But until then, we'll have to wait and see. And over here on this channel, we will be keeping the Heroes agenda going strong. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.